CQDX, CQDX, CQDX. This is Havana calling. CQDX, CQDX, CQDX. This is Radio Havana calling all shortwave listeners and radio amateurs. Welcome to DXers Unlimited, Radio Havana's weekly feature dedicated to the fascinating world of radio communications.
Hi, mis amigos de radio aficionados all around the world. I am Arnaldo Arnicoro, Radio Amateur CO2KK, Charlie Oscar 2 Kilo Kilo, your host here at the weekend edition of DXers Unlimited, the one and only radio hobby program that covers each and every aspect of this wonderful hobby. From traveling with your radios and antennas to a remote uninhabited island with the purpose of activating ham radio contest station, to carefully sorting out with a magnifying glass very small surface-mounted devices, electronic components required to populate the circuit board of a new kit transceiver of the new generation. My advice is that both the trip to the remote island and assembling a transceiver that requires handling extremely small SMD devices are extreme cases that will require a lot of preparation and developing special skills for both of them. Way back in 1965, when the World Scuba Diving Championship was organized here in Cuba at the Cayo Avalos Key close to the Isle of Youth, I faced for the first time ever the reality of the very challenging job of transporting, installing and operating a special event station in an isolated small island where we had to move in everything, including drinking water. But later we found out that Avalos Key was fully populated with beautiful coconut palms that provided all the water that we needed and more. We brought several collapsible mats, but soon again we found out that Mother Nature had provided the very tall coconut trees located at the right spots to complete our antenna farm. Yes, there are two beautiful white sand beaches at Cayo Avalos, so we swam a lot to do the required physical exercise after so many hours of sitting at the operating position of our special event stations. Mine was Charlie Oscar 4 Delta Lima CO4DL and brought a lot of attention worldwide because the CO4 prefix had not been on the air on the DX bands for a very long time. We also enjoyed fishing many nice snappers and groupers, plus several small sharks too. The DX expedition to Cayo Avalos way back in 1965 was the first one ever organized by Cuban radio amateurs, and I had the privilege of participating with 9 other excellent Cuban amateurs. Item 2, the sun is definitely at rest, taking a several days long vacation, showing 0 sunspots and delivering a very low solar flux level. The very low activity period is providing scientists with a lot of valuable information this week because several of the newer research instruments now in orbit did not exist during the last similar extended periods of very low solar activity that happened way back at the tail end of solar cycle 23. Stay tuned for more radio related information. I'll be back with you in a few seconds. This is Arnicoro speaking from sunny La Habana, Cuba. See? Sure. This is Radio Havana Cuba, and the name of the show is DXers Unlimited, our twice-weekly radio hobby program. Here's now item 4. When my full-size D5 RV multi-band dipole went down after a tie at the mast broke down as a consequence of the local heavy winds, I was left without high-frequency bands capability at all. Yes, I could not even say hello to the 40 meters early morning nets here in Cuba. So I have decided not only to repair and improve the installation of the G5RB, installing a W4RNL dipole, but also to install a 40 meters band mini dipole that is exactly half the size of the standard 40 meters band half-wave dipole, and that works very well according to the comparative test done so far. The design came from a British radio amateur that looks at a location where space is at a premium, as it happens in many parts of the world nowadays. He wound 2 loading coils and installed them halfway along the wire elements in order to harness the size of the dipole, and yes, to make it resonant to the center of a 40 meters band. 7,100 kilohertz was the selected frequency for resonance. And in the case of Europe, Africa, and Asia stations where the 40 meter band radio allocation strength for 200 kilohertz, 7,000 to 7,200, that was a perfect antenna. The 2 coils are wound on a short length of white PVC plumber's pressure pipe and protected by 2 layers of electrician tape, and then 2 dippings into a can of white automobile type paint enamel. A similar antenna at my former QTH performed very well without any problems for about 9 years until it was taken down, and I gave it away to a friend that had moved recently and required a new antenna. The GM4 Juliet Mike Uniform, GM4JMU, short 40 meters band antenna, was originally published by the British QRP Club magazine that goes by the name of Strap. It came out on issue number 74 during the spring of 1993 edition. And I can send you a copy of that file so you can build your own compact 40 meter band dipole that also works on 15 meters. It's ideal to take along with you when you're traveling or to keep it up as a standby or second antenna at home. Again, it works also on 15 meters. Yes, you can send the request to info.rhc@enet.cu. Again, info.rhc@enet.cu. And I can assure you that after opening up that file, you will immediately start to look for the materials to build your own compact antenna system for 40 and 15 meters. But do not forget to include the 1-to-1 unbalanced to balanced radio frequency broadband transformer or balun. It is required in order to keep the antenna balanced properly to avoid picking up a lot of man-made noise that is vertically polarized. You can buy a professional one-to-one balun, or make your own following the instructions that will be sent along with the email attachment on how to build your own broadband RF transformers. And by the way, this antenna is just 11 meters long, including 2 centimeters to 50 centimeters of plastic rope at each end to act as insulators to keep it separated from the mast. And let me add that I do not recommend installing this compact half-wave antenna as a sloping antenna system. Try to keep it as high as possible from any surrounding objects and place it, please, in a horizontal position between the two masts because it's more efficient in that location. And now a news item about the latest long-distance DX record on the new, below the broadcast band amateur radio assignment. It's the 630 meters band record. New Cuban amateur radio rules and regulations have authorized the use for us Cuban radio amateurs of the 630 meters band spanning from 472 to 479 kilohertz. And the amazing propagation that seems to be available on the 630 meters band led to the first two-way contact between Canada and Australia. Steve McDonald, Victor Echo 7 Sierra Lima in British Columbia, Canada, and Roger Croft, BK4YB in Queensland, Australia, completed the contact on September 15 last year using the JT9 Marvelous Digital Communications mode. Distance covered was on the order of 7,000 miles. Yes, 7,000 miles on 630 meters wavelength. And the contact took place on 473.3 kilohertz. And now, amigos, after that good news of the new DX record on the 630 meters band, and the good news that from now on Cuban radio amateurs can be active on that band, here at the end of the show, this is the best I can do regarding high-frequency propagation forecast due to the present extended period of extremely low solar activity that is now in progress. I have already several nice AM broadcast band DX signals from South America during my early evening hours, logged them pretty easily because of the low ionospheric absorption. Also several tropical band stations from Brazil operating on the 60 meters band are coming in nicely every night due to the very low ionospheric absorption that is a consequence of the extremely low solar activity. And as expected, it's happening. 20, 17, 15, 12, and 10 meter amateur bands are in very poor shape due to the low maximum usable frequencies that are available during the solar minimum years that we're transiting right now. As always, you can send your signal reports and comments to info.rhc@enet.cu or via airmail to Anicoro, Radio Havana Cuba, Havana, Cuba.
And that's all for today. This is Anicoro, Radio Amateur CO2KK, your host here at Radio Havana's DXers Unlimited, saying 73 and very good DX.
DXers Unlimited heard every week here on Radio Havana Cuba with Arnie Coro, actually twice a week, the weekend edition, which you were just listening to now, and we have the midweek edition as well, twice a week. DXers Unlimited with Arnie Coro.